In 1906, the Municipal Tramways Trust was formed in Adelaide to replace horse-drawn tram lines with a modern electric system. 6 of the private horse tram operators were acquired by the new Tramways Trust, and work soon started in converting the system to electric operation. A total of 100 single truck trams were required to operate the new Adelaide tram system, with the contract being awarded to local firm Duncan & Fraser to build the bodies of the new fleet. The electrical and mechanical equipment was supplied from Britain and the United States. After it became the first electric tram to run in Adelaide under trial in November 1908, Tram No. 1 led a procession of trams from the city to Kensington to open the Adelaide tram system on the 9th of March 1909, with regular services commencing the day after. Tram No. 1 was one of 70 trams built to a combination design, which featured a central saloon and 2 open-seated sections at each end of the tram. When these trams first entered service, they were officially known as combination cars, although they were soon classified as the A-type. The other 30 trams in the order of 100 were built to different design, and later became known as the B-type. The A-type trams rode on a single 4-wheel truck and could seat 40 passengers with a maximum crush load of 101 people. Ratted seats were provided in the saloon, while solid timber seats were used in the open sections. With the arrival of larger and more modern trams, a number of A-type trams were placed into storage from the 1930s. In 1936, 3 A-type trams were sold to the Victorian State Electricity Commission, who used these trams on the Ballarat system and were modified to suit operating conditions. Ballarat Tram No. 21, now preserved at the St Kilda Tramway Museum, was originally Adelaide Tram No. 10. The Second World War put an immense strain on the Adelaide tram system, with record numbers of passengers due to the rationing of petrol. To save on manpower, a number of previously stored A-type cars were coupled into pairs from 1941 and became known as bib and bub sets. During this period, Tram No. 1 was coupled to No. 2. The bib and bub sets ran until 1950, when they were either withdrawn from service or converted back to a single car operation. The last few A-type trams continued to run until they were withdrawn from service in May 1952. No. 1 remained in use after the last A-type trams had been taken out of service by acting as the depot shunter at Hackney. A-type Tram 1 was one of the first trams to arrive at the Tramway Museum. After being stored at Morfordville with several other trams destined for the museum, No. 1 arrived at the museum in August 1958. Restoration of the tram commenced in 1965, and work was completed in time for initial static display in 1967. On New Year's Day 1972, No. 1 became the first tram to test the museum substation and operated under its own power. 2 years later, No. 1 again led a procession of trams for the opening of the Tramway Museum line. Now over 100 years old, A-Type 1 is maintained in operational condition, although it's only used on special occasions because of its historical significance. A-Type trams 14 and 15 are also preserved by the Tramway Museum and are currently under restoration as a coupled bib and bub set. Both of these cars were stripped of all mechanical components and were sold by the Municipal Tramways Trust in the early 1950s after they were withdrawn from service, with 14 going to Middle Beach and 15 going to Fisherman's Bay. Although both trams are now operational, much work remains to be done before they're ready for public operation.